In last video we have discussed about how you can configure the testing modules uh, because for using the component you have to configure the thing. Without doing configuration you cannot access this component. So, in this component you have noticed that you are using services which is the API service. So, same API service you have to inject it in this particular component, means whenever you will create a component, means mock of the component, duplicate of this component, then you have to do certain configuration so that you will able to access each of this property and method including template URL of this particular component. Okay. So, in the provider section we are using the API service, but friends we will not use this service directly. Why? Because if you will use the service directly, then what will happen, the real API call may be triggered. So, real method will be called, and if the real method will get called suppose post data, then there will be a side effect. So, main funda is uh, to do a unit testing in such a way that there should be a no any side effect in our application. Okay. So, we will create a mock or spy, we will create a mock or maybe duplicate of this particular service. So, how we will do that? It is very easy, just we will put it in this uh, uh, curly bracket, and then you have to write here the provide. Why provide? Provide because you are injecting a service with this name API service. So, this is this API you are using this name to injecting something. Okay. Basically what you are injecting? You are injecting the instance of the services class, which is this class actually. This is the class you are injecting, this instance you are injecting, and that instance having the method and property whatever you will define it here. Okay. So, the DI token will be the same, but value will be the different. Value will not be the instance of this particular services class. This will be something else, which is you can see you can say it's a duplicate of this particular service. Okay, or you can say a mock. So, let us write it here. This is a provide, and then another one is that use value. Again there are some property which is a use value, use class, use as existing, use factory, and use value as well. It means you can inject a particular values, and let us say name of this value will be one variable that hold uh, uh, that holds properties like whatever properties and method is available in this particular API service. So, write it here spy API, something like that. Now, you have created this API spy API, but you can notice that it is showing the error because you have not uh, declared anywhere. So, let us declare it here. Again you have to provide here the type. So, type will be the Jasmine dot spy object, and this is the spy object is their type will be very similar to API service. So, write it down in this way, and then the value will be you can define, you can create a object which will be the duplicate of, you can say duplicate of the API service. So, write it here Jasmine dot create spy object, this one, because you are creating an object that will hold the maybe method and property which is very similar to this services class. Okay. And then it will take one let us say here you have to write, let's say because you are using for the API service, so I am writing here the API service, and then in the array format I am defining the name of the property or method which we want to create. So right now you can see there is only one method, so I am going to create a spy object of this particular method. So I have to write it in a single quote or maybe double quote based on your uh, project structure you can follow. So yeah, so this is created. Now if you want to check that this suppose this method create spy object, what parameter is or any argument is expecting. So you can check, just you need to go to their definition, you will say there is will be a base name and then method name, something like that, create spy object, and the property name. You can follow this pattern. Okay, so let's now we are able to create a spy object. Now if someone will try to access this particular method, then what will happen? So let's try to do that. So as you know that if anyone try to access this particular method, then it will return one observable that holds some value, which is the status, and the data is user and password is something, means whatever you are passing you will just returning in the form of observable. So similarly you have to do here as well. So if someone will try to access this particular method, then what will be the what will return? So you have to specify. So how you can do? So it's very easy, just you have to write a uh, spy API, and then you want to access this method. So write it down, post data, and then dot end dot return value. You can write a return value. So in the return value you can return one object. So this object will be very similar to this one. So just I am going to copy from here, and then so since this will return one observable, so for creating a observable we can use here the of operator, and then within of operator we can pass this data, uh, this object, and basically this object uh, will be returned from this observable. So user, so let's say write one user can be world gyan, I am just randomly adding, and then a password. So let's add anything for now. So like this. So now you can see that this will return, if someone will try to access this post data, then it will return this observable. But here it's showing the error. So you can fix it by, if you will click here, then you have to import it from the RxJS library. Now it's fixed. So I hope you understand till now. It's very easy. Now you have configured a testing module. Now you have to compile the component. All the required or necessary thing which is required to compile the component you already did, because this component required a reactive form you have added. This component you have provided a name of this component, or whatever other component, suppose a child component if you are using, or any pipes or directive you are using, you have to add it in declaration section. Similarly you are injecting API service, so you are also injected here. Now it's time to compile the component. So you just because this is the one object, okay, this will create one object, and with that object it have a one property which is the compile component. Now this is the compile component, that's it, means component will get compiled before running each of this it method. The component will get compiled. Now once component will get compiled, you can create a component. Okay, so and if you will create a component, you will able to access all of these things, which is template URL, all the part of the HTML you can access, and then all the method and property from this particular component you can access. So for that you have to write it here, suppose that fixture is a variable, I will store it. So you can do so with the help of the TestBed library, TestBed.createComponent, and in this way you can create a component. You have to provide the name of this component. So here it is the app component. So I am creating a app component so that we can able to access. So component get compiled, and then we have created a component. So I am storing in the one variable which is a fixture. This fixture holds lots of information. It is a whole object that have lots of method and property. Later on we will use. So based on that method and property, we will able to access everything related to component. Okay, so here it is showing the error. So I am going to define it here above. Let's say here. So I am going to declare this variable. So this is the fixture, and then the type of this particular fixture is the component fixture. This one, the component fixture of what? So this is for the app component. So let's write it app component. Something like that. So this angle bracket should be closed. So now it's fine. So you can see that I have created this particular fixture. Now we can, before running each of this each method, we will execute this one, and we can add a change detection. Change detection something that if any property in Angular, basically what will happen, suppose if any property will get changed, then change detection will be happen, and everywhere same data will get reflected. Or suppose if you are using a child component, then that data will also get passed. If you are passing any data from parent to child, then that will also get passed, means new data will also get passed. So whenever any change detection will be happen, then this will reflect everywhere because of the change detection. So fixture dot there is a detect change. So before running each of this each method, you can mark it as a change detect change. But yeah, why it's showing error? So here it should be semicolon. So now this component is get created. Now it's time to write a unit test case. Okay, so here I am going to in this each method I am going to check that if you will make any changes from the HTML, then same thing should need to be reflected in component. So okay, it will check, but before going ahead, I am going to show you what the thing you are getting in this fixture objects. Okay, so let's try to find out. So here I am going to write here the console.log, and then this is the fixture. So once I will print, then you will get some clarity, and also you have to run this test. So ng test, enter it. So I am going to inspect, and then let's go to the console. In console you will find this component fixture, and this component fixture lots of information. So you can see a component, a debug element, native element, ng zone, component. In the component instance you can see init form, fb, api. There are lots of information available. So this information you can find it here as well. So all of these properties like init form, data, everything you will find it from here. So I will create a next video in the detail. Thank you very much.